Welcome back to my channel. At the time I'm creating this video, a Philippine vlogger named Mark Thornton had recently died, leaving behind a young Filipino wife and a son who is less than 9 months old. Obviously, this is a very sad situation, yet I saw lots of gossip, even lies, before he passed as well as after. For example, when Mark made a trip back to visit his family in the US, a vlogger accused him of abandoning his pregnant wife. How do I know that was gossip? Well, we can start with the reality that the only fact that the gossip was based on was that, yes, Mark did travel to the US. But all the other pertinent facts were left out, which included the detail that Mark bought a round-trip ticket and would only be gone a few weeks. Not exactly the act of someone who is abandoning his wife. Mark also talked about his daily video calls with his wife, also about buying baby supplies to take back with him. In other words, there was really nothing to show he was abandoning his wife, and much to show he was not. What does that leave for the gossips? Well, they could just claim that Mark was lying about the tickets, the phone calls, and buying of baby supplies. It's what gossips do. But Mark did return to the Philippines, just as he said. With Mark's passing, I've seen more crap from gossips, such as how he didn't do anything to prepare for that possibility, like getting his son signed up under his Social Security. But how would gossips know? Gossips don't care. Did Mark take care of Social Security? Well, I can't say for sure, but again, we can look at the actual evidence. Even before his son was born, Mark talked about the things he needed to do, including Social Security. So, we know Mark was aware of what he had to do and that he planned to do it. Then we had another vlogger who was helping out when Mark was taken to the hospital. He reported how Mark had everything organized to handle all the paperwork for emergencies. The vlogger was quite amazed at how thorough Mark was. Well, if Mark was that methodical, wouldn't it be reasonable to believe that Mark was the same when it came to Social Security and other things? And for a final bit of evidence, Paul Old Dog New Tricks contacted the embassy to check on things and was told Mark's paperwork had been received. None of this means Mark did all he could. There is no way to know. But that's not my point. Heck, he could have done everything and the government screws things up. But gossips don't care about the preponderance of evidence. They care about possibilities, no matter how unlikely. It's why someone like Mike of the now terminated Mike's Philippine Journey channel would first accuse the Filipina P of not registering with the BIR for taxes and base it on a claim that most Filipino vloggers have not. And then, when proof came out that she had registered, he just declared it didn't mean she actually paid her taxes. At no point was there a shred of evidence that she had not paid. Gossips don't care. P is one of the most successful Filipino vloggers, which would also make her an obvious target for the BIR to check on if they didn't get tax forms from her. Back to Mark, there are people saying things which, even if true, serve no good purpose. His wife doesn't need gossip saying negative things. I don't care if Mark was bad in some ways. What is the benefit of trashing him now? You literally can't hurt him. You can only hurt his family. The excuse, as previously stated, was that he made his life public. One channel even referred to Mark talking about the fist fight he had with another person as if that justified criticizing him now. But that is a simplistic view. Why? Because other people had already made a big public issue of the fight, criticizing Mark. So what does Mark do? He presents his side of the story. Seems appropriate to me. Do gossips think it's fine to make an issue about someone, but if they respond to give their side, that is inappropriate? Actually, a lot of people do think that way. I've gotten plenty of criticism for dealing with trolls by people who never criticize the trolls. Let's take another example from the Philippine Antics channel.
So the whole thing is a lot of these people, including Mark and Jen, put their entire life out there. And a lot of people tried to say we didn't know anything about Mark, so we should have shut our mouth. And I told George, I said, those are the same people that are hating because of the type of channel we had.
Newsflash. Even channels that talk about their lives rarely are putting their entire life out there. And if you don't have real evidence for what you say about someone, keeping your mouth shut is good advice. But what the heck does that last part mean? The statement of, those are the same people that are aiding because of the type of channel we have. Aiding what? And what does it have to do with the type of channel Philippine Antics is? Maybe they should do scripted videos to reduce confusion. Well, I'll cover that issue in an upcoming video. Then George says,
if you pay attention, we really didn't really say anything wrong. We're just reading this, whatever people said.
I see this a lot. Just repeat some other gossip, usually with no challenge to it, and then pretend they have no responsibility for spreading the gossip. I point out what people say too, but if it's gossip or worse, I also show how they are wrong, so to reduce it from spreading. Heidi then jumps back in, followed by George.
Oh, well, I mean, here's the thing.
And-
People have asked me how I feel about him. And just like everybody else, they have their right. We left the comments
Correct.
up when
It
people
doesn't
said I
mean
was
if somebody
fat or they
comments
didn't like
and
me.
we
We
read
leave
it,
them.
It doesn't mean if we read it that we agree with it.
Just because they are fine when people attack them inappropriately, it doesn't justify them criticizing others inappropriately. It's much like when Mike's Philippine journey tried to excuse ridiculing the physical appearance of the wife of Paul Old Dog New Tricks and laughing while doing it. Mike tries to excuse such behavior by declaring he only rated himself as a 4, but that doesn't excuse what he said about Paul's wife and others. As for the argument that if they only read the gossip from others and that doesn't mean they agree with it, well, spreading it without challenge makes it more likely to be believed. It's the repetition equals truth tactic, whether done deliberately or carelessly. And that leads to the everybody knows it's true tactic, when, in fact, it just means lots of people were fooled. Then we have some really weird statements from them, like this one.
I just want to reiterate that this show is not picking on anybody.
We're not picking on anybody,
We're
but
going to
it's-
bring all the drama and make fun and poke fun and have fun today. And
Typically, when there is drama on social media, it means someone is being targeted in a negative way. Same with poking fun at others. So their statement seems contradictory to me. If you aren't picking on anyone, then you aren't going to bring drama or make fun of people. Yet they say they are. Weird. Thanks for watching, and don't let the trolls stop you from speaking out.